A new report from the Wall Street Journal highlights the growing trend of right-wing social media influencers being paid to act as lobbyists in Washington, sometimes without disclosing their payments.
The report lists examples of corporate and foreign interests pouring money into social media stars to push their causes. It reads in part, quote, "A camera-ready pack of Gen Z social media natives, many of whom were too young to vote when Trump announced his first run for office, are reaping the rewards. They don't work for traditional news outlets and are thus unshackled from newsroom ethics rules, such as the typical ban on accepting gifts worth more than $25. They don't have to follow the disclosure laws that apply to big money super PACs or lobbyists, and they have large followings eager to hear pro-Trump views, a gold mine for those looking to sway both Washington and the public."
Among those listed in the article included former Trump aide Alex Bruesewitz, who pushed for reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug last year. I agree with that. It is less dangerous. But the Journal notes that he did not mention to his online audience that he'd been paid $300,000 by a political action committee funded by advocates for legal marijuana. The article did catch the attention of people online, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who writes on X, "The proliferation of paid influencers has been one of the biggest changes in social media, definitely erodes the usefulness of the medium." Well, so says him.
There was also some pushback from both left-wing and right-wing commentators. Seth Dillon, the CEO of the satirical conservative news site, the Babylon Bee, says, quote, "It's wrong and should be illegal to feed your audience paid propaganda without disclosure." And writer Tim Sharrock took it a step further, saying, quote, "Right-wing clueless influencers are the latest sign of the deep corruption in the Trump administration and politics in general. They popularize Israel and the Mar-a-Lago Nazi cause for millions of dollars."
I don't agree with this at all. I think this is, I don't agree with the backlash to it. I think it's...
People shouldn't say if they're getting paid by somebody to advertise.
They shouldn't be required to. People, that this is unique or different or weird is not. I mean, there are a lot of media organizations that are nonprofits, receive donors. Often their donors are not disclosed. A lot of major corporate media that takes money from advertisers. You don't necessarily know who the advertisers are. It's just the business of journalism and content creation and news. So what is different about this?
I know you're lying right now, Robbie. I know. You were so upset when X unveiled how many foreign accounts were actively pushing ideas. So these similar foreign companies are actively pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into influencers' pockets to persuade our administration to enact laws, or not persuade the base of people that are young voters that our administration often listens to enact policies that more benefit them through the guise of an influencer. That is not being transparent. That's a problem. That's the same foreign actor making it even further than a fake bot account on X, trying to push a narrative. You're like, people aren't even riled up about this one thing over here.
But no, there's a difference between not disclosing your sources of funding and fraudulently representing yourself as someone else. That's a form of fraud. I don't think...
But it's overtaken the discourse, is what I'm saying, so much that
yeah, but you still just get to engage with the arguments. Like, okay, whatever, the pro-marijuana lobby gave Alex Bruesewitz money to say that marijuana should be illegal because it's less dangerous and it was classified as the most dangerous drug ever. Well, yeah, those arguments are correct. It being classified like that was stupid. Lots of people do use it safely and it should be legalized, and most Americans agree with that. So, oh no, and his argument, he was paid for by that, who cares? Engage with the argument. Like, if you disagree with the argument, what if you're funded by the people who don't like it? I mean, I would just engage with the argument.
It's not like a simple hair product, Robbie. It's not like, oh, somebody duped me. They got paid by shea butter or something, and I'm buying this, and it doesn't even work on my hair. We're talking about influencing politics that affect our lives for generations until the law is changed. And so I think that that's a little bit more, there's a little more nuance there. There's a reason why
maybe if it's
journalists
foreign,
aren't allowed
to. There's a rule for, with FARA and foreign lobbyists, you got to register, and again, if it's foreign interest, maybe, but I just tend not to be. I want to know what the argument is, and I'll engage with it on its own merits.
But let's say like somebody really appreciates your opinion and thinks that you're just genuinely saying how you feel, and then find out a month later, well, the marijuana thing, that's easy. They cut you a $300,000 check. That would be annoying to find out that you don't, maybe you genuinely believe that and you found an organization that believes what you believe.
You just have to trust that I am not going to suddenly start saying that marijuana should be illegal because some marijuana anti-marijuana group gave me money. Like,
Because you're
I'm
moral
just not-
fiber, you think influencers are going to have this high stakes of
Well,
moral
people
fiber?
know my
to say,
ideology.
"Oh,
People know how I feel. It works the other way. I work for, one of my many jobs, I work for Reason Magazine, which is a magazine that's published by a nonprofit foundation that has donors. I don't know who all the donors are. People give money because they support the libertarian, free market, free trade work. There's probably maybe some anti-tariff group gives us money because we believe tariffs are bad. We're not suddenly, we can't be bought because we're libertarians. We have an ideology. We're not going to change our ideology because someone gave us money. They're going to contribute to us because they like the work we're doing in support of the views they hold. So people act like it's you get money and then change what you think. Maybe that is how it works for some of these influencers.
I'm about to say, you think no influencers doing that, or
maybe it's different
weren't
for
even
them.
passionate about a topic, but then someone cut a check and all of a sudden they became extremely passionate about that. I think that will exist in this ethos, which is why people are just saying, maybe we shouldn't just have a free-for-all where people are just handing out thousands of dollars. At the very least, like, disclose it. Like, I believe on Instagram you have to say that it's an ad, right? You have to say paid partnership. They now make it easy for you. And still, some of those posts, some of those influencers, we could use an easy one. Kim Kardashian makes millions of dollars.
Okay, if the
ad.
social media site wants to have a policy requiring that kind of disclosure, that's absolutely fine. Like Instagram doing that, that's fine. Like X deciding to reveal where people's locations are, that's fine. What I'm saying is it should be a platform by platform decision. This is an interesting new development, and I just wouldn't jump to regulating it or requiring it. Like one of those comments we made it should be illegal. Well, you do have a First Amendment right to speech, to anonymous speech. You don't even have to say who you are. Now, the platform does not have a First Amendment. The platform is a private company. So the platform can have whatever rules on speech it wants. It doesn't have to give you First Amendment rights. The First Amendment just protects private individuals and companies from government threats. So the platform can have different policies. That's fine. I'm just trying to say I don't think the government, and maybe this speaks toward how stupid some of the PAC and lobbying and campaign finance stuff. I'm very against a lot of those regulations because I think they're easily gamed by the smarter and more connected political people. And at the end of the day, it's speech, and speech should not be regulated. And speech can be anonymous, and money is speech. It just is. And I know people don't like that. I know people don't like how much money gets spent on campaigns, but it's just speech. So that's the way it's got to be. And I think we should engage with the arguments. And yes, some of this new class of influencers, they are for sale. You're right. They are for sale. But maybe don't trust ones who don't disclose where their funding comes from, or just don't trust people who change their tune. I was against Israel, and then I had a meeting with the Israeli government, and my bank account went up a little bit, and now I'm saying pro-Israel things. That probably happened, and the reverse happens. Is that a real phenomenon? Yes. It's just I don't know. I don't know that this is so shocking or so new. And maybe it's on you, the consumer of social media content, not to be so gullible, frankly.
I know. Sometimes when you're consuming information, this is why, and it's not to bash anybody, but when you look at people who are consuming just the headline and then they run with the story, that's a problem because you didn't take the time to read like 3 and 4 sources. But some people, like you always often acknowledge, just getting their news from social media. And sometimes it's already hard enough to decipher who is delivering news, who's delivering commentary, perspective, and analysis. Like, there's a lot going on. So now people are getting paid. It just seems like it could easily get out of control, where the social media platforms that we grew to love and enjoy and experience, now we don't know if we're getting like the wool over our eyes because somebody is just getting paid to tell us this, as opposed to actually providing an analysis that they truly researched and believe in, or just providing wherever the check was.
Maybe I am so unimportant, and that's why this never happens to me, but I have never once in my career, in 20 years in media, been in a situation where I was offered money to change my mind about something or to promote some view I didn't agree with. It's never happened. I've certainly received money or been invited to speak. I've been invited to participate in debates where maybe not everyone agrees on the thing. I've received money by like-minded organizations or people to support what I already think, but I've never been in a situation where, if I only said blah, 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 I could reap the, but maybe I'm not as big deal as people who hawk makeup tutorials.
You're a big deal, Robbie. Up next, YouTuber Nick Shirley is speaking out after his viral video investigating claims of fraud in Minnesota. We'll look at that next.